are also recording. So we'll go ahead and give it a quick minute to let people get on, and I'm going to go ahead and share in a couple places, and I encourage you to do as well as anybody watching.
Right. Now let's see if I can find it. Because I wasn't putting it up first. All right.
So anybody that's hopping on with us right now, hello, thank you for being here. We're just going to give it a couple minutes and we will get started. And Yolanda is here with me as our guest today.
Okay, showing me your history, but it's not showing me your live stuff. Can you tag me in it so I can try to pull it up?
Yeah, so we're right on the Voice of Strength. I'm posting it on mine right now, and I'm going to tag you right now as well.
Okay.
And we have a few people on with us already. Hello to everybody joining us. Please go ahead and share this for us as well, and on your pages and in any groups you may be a part of, with any friends who may need to see this.
Still being high.
Let's see. It's not letting me tag you, person. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay.
So I just tagged you right now.
Okay. Let's see the notifications. All right, there it is.
And if there's any other impacted families that are joining us today, please feel free to, well, everybody say hello to us, and then share your loved one's name down in the comments with us as well.
Okay.
And so I just shared that to our event page. Anybody who was invited in our event will get the notification for that as well.
Okay. I give it to a few places.
All right. And so for anybody that's also here with us, leave comments while we're speaking. If you guys have questions for Yolanda or myself, any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. We will go through them and answer some as we are going through the show tonight. If we don't get through all of them, we will get back to you guys later when we do catch up to the comments. And so let's go ahead and get started. I will introduce the show. This is the Voice of Strength series, and we highlight victims of police killings in the United States. So we are doing episode 19 today, and we are speaking about Adaisha Miller, who was killed by an off-duty Detroit officer. And her mom is here with us today, Yolanda McNair. Can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi. For those who don't know who I am, I'm Yolanda McNair, the mother of Adaisha Miller. My daughter was killed by a Detroit officer who was off duty having a party at his home, hanging out with his family and his friends. And my daughter was invited by one of his relatives to the party because she was out celebrating her upcoming 25th birthday. And as a result of her celebrating her life, this officer murdered her. And I had to do something with all that pain and rage. So I, with a few other people, Kimberly Davis and Kevin Kellum and the late Martilla Jones, started P.O.S.T, Protect Our Stolen Treasures. And the organization is now 5 years old. We're having an anniversary party later on this year for us. We're inviting all activists, family members, everybody in the movement that's moving positively. We're inviting them out to come and celebrate with us.
Thank you for sharing that. I needed to turn off my notifications. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, and for those, I'm sure people on are familiar with you, but for those that are not, she's Yolanda, it's almost 9 years for her family now. So she's been in here, she's been fighting. It's been 4 years since my brother was killed. I can't even recall exactly when I came across you. I just know it's pretty early on. And that's kind of how it happens with the families, and we connect on social media. So
Right.
I'm really glad to have connected with you. You've done a lot of work.
Thank you. Thank you. Our organization has grown over the course of these 5 years. We have 6 chapters in different states, and we're looking to add a couple more by the end of the year. But the one thing that makes us very unique is that each and every chapter is led by somebody who lost a loved one to police murder. So this is definitely properly motivated, to get justice and make change.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And then anything you about the event or about posts that we can repost for you or share and the event, let us know. Okay,
I definitely will. Yeah, the event is actually a 2-parter on July 9th, which is Adaisha's 34th birthday. We're going to do her headstone dedication. And that was helped in part by the Cordell Q. Handy Remembrance of Me Foundation. I'm good friends with his mother, Kimberly Handy Jones, and they donated funds to help me get my daughter's headstone. And I know a lot of people are like, why you didn't have her headstone yet? The first 3 years of her, after her death, there were groups of people that were showing up at the cemetery asking where my daughter was buried. And it was very unsettling to myself and the staff of the cemetery. I mean, so much so that when people would show up, they would call me and ask me, do I know these people? Did I send them? It just really seemed extremely morbid. So for that time period, we decided not to put a headstone down, just to keep her privacy hers. Especially since we didn't know the motivation behind what these people were doing. And they were never they were never willing to speak with us to explain why it was that they were out there in a group. I mean, we're talking 5 to 15 people.
Gosh.
Coming out the blues, and I can appreciate and I do appreciate the support and the fact that people haven't forgot my daughter. But at the same time, it's kind of weird, So
yeah, it's kind of
postponed, for a while just to, man, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially when you don't have answers and you're dealing with that. But as I was saying, it's a 2-parter. On her birthday is the headstone dedication. And then the next day we're doing our anniversary party for P.O.S.T, which P.O.S.T is 5 years old now.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to comment just back on the cemetery thing. That just it's really sad that we have to be defensive like that and have our guard up like that. But it's just the beginning, and to know that you had to do that to protect your daughter after she already passed, after everything. Just one of those things that impacted families go through that people don't realize.
Right.
And then I just, that's awesome about your headstone. And Kim's I've seen some of the work that they've been doing. It's awesome that they give back, and your organization as well, family led. It's genuine intentions. So I just want to give shout out to you guys, shout out to them for that. We definitely need more family led movements and organizations.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about your daughter first. Let's talk about her. Tell us something about her, her nickname, just different things about what she was doing with her life at that time. She was still so young. So young.
Very. Just getting started and making some of her dreams come true. I've written that, Adaisha loved life. She loved poetry. She was learning to play the guitar at the time of her death. She was set to go the next day, which was her birthday, to sign a contract to work for a very well-renowned chiropractor. My daughter was a licensed massage therapist who specialized in physical therapy. And this gentleman only hired the first 3 that graduated at any class. If you were 4th, he wouldn't take you. And she was ready to, really get into that career. She also was very, very athletic. Her and my stepdaughter were going to go to California to put their bid in to see if they could get into WWE. And
Oh, wow.
truly, they were good. They were very good. And, she just wanted to be happy. She wanted people around her to be happy. She enjoyed writing haikus and drawing, just being with people, having that opportunity to let them be themselves, express themselves, and have a good conversation.
Yeah. Gosh. She was, I was looking at her birthday right now to the side of my screen, and she was just a year older than me. So her birthday too, I'm in July as well. And I wanted to get into WWE before. So just hearing these details about the victims,
Yeah,
it's something I like to hear about on the show. Is just, shows them for who they were, from us, their loved ones.
Yeah, the real person.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people need to really lock in on is that when the police tell you something about a victim, they're going off of damn near a scripted sheet of how to diminish them and make them not human. And then it leaves us with the work of trying to get the world to see our loved ones as human beings again. So I'm very much aware of how much work it is, and to just be going about your day, enjoying your life, having a conversation, and the next moment someone shoots you dead and then sits up there and lies about it. It's crazy. And I said time and time again, somebody's gonna get tired of carrying his lies. I've had friends ask me to put up a reward, which I could put up a $5,000 reward. I could do that. I could also exhume my daughter and have another coroner examination of her, because there were things that were left out, and honest and truly, I'm gonna end up having to do that anyway, because there were injuries to my daughter that were photographed but not documented in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you missed it, you just omitted it.
Yeah.
Trying to make it fit the officer's scenario. And unfortunately, our coroners are not as independent as people would like to think they are. They're buddies with the cops. So you're hard pressed to find one that's actually going to call them out on what they've done, and then stick to it. And if they do, they end up blackballed. But let's be real, though people don't really realize it, they vote for a coroner.
Yep.
They're an elected official. So we got to hold them accountable, just like we do the police officers and the prosecutors and the attorneys and the judges. It's a multifaceted fight, and a lot of people don't understand that. They just think your arguments with the cop. No, it's with the system. It's with everybody that supported them, everybody that's benefiting from it. It's a bunch of leeches and vultures involved.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you for everything you're sharing, and just like, thank you for sharing this truth, and just being consistent and sharing and speaking it. A lot of people don't realize these details and how deep and how many layers there are to it, how many people are involved.
Right. Because this is a crazy situation. Just with my daughter's case, she was at a party with 40 plus people, and out of 40 plus people, only one person called 911.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And that was 25 minutes after she was shot. But this raggedy ass prosecutor we got here in Detroit, and I'm gonna say Kim Worthless. So anybody watching, let her know. If she got a problem with me, she can come find me, because I definitely have a problem with her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she found nothing wrong with the call coming in 25 minutes later, and it only being one phone call out of 40 people.
So let's go into you sharing what the first narrative. I know you did, but let's share it again. And just the first narrative that your family got, and how you learned, and then we'll go into like what the actual truth that you've uncovered and that's came out.
Yeah, I don't know how many other people have as many scenarios as I do, but I've got 6 altogether, 5 in 4 days, as to how Adaisha was shot. The first one was, it was a side-by-side hug, and the gun went off and she was shot. Then it was a face-to-face hug. The gun went off, she was shot. Then it was, she was behind him trying to get him to dance with her. She got shot. He was dancing with her next, and the gun somehow went off and she got shot. The most salacious one that everybody grabbed onto, and it really pisses me off that people want to be that narrow-minded and slow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it.
Speak your mind.
That they want to stick with that raggedy stuff and say, okay, I'm gonna tell you how it happened.
Yeah.
One reporter asked me what my daughter did for a living. One, and that was on the 4th day at about 10 o'clock in the morning. Told him she was a licensed massage therapist specializing in physical therapy. By noon, the Detroit Police Department had put out that my daughter was doing an exotic dance on the ground and grabbed at the officer's waist, and that's how the gun went off and shot her.
What the?
Right. So you took her profession, that she had to learn all this stuff about the body and how pressure points work and nerve system and all this other good stuff, and turned it into she's an exotic dancer.
My gosh.
Now, throughout all of this, one, we already know they're lying because of the way that my daughter, the bullet entry is off for every scenario that they gave. Secondly, but more importantly, my daughter doesn't dance, never did. All her friends, first thing out their mouth, Mom, why they saying she danced? They know that they don't know, but we know that they don't dance. Doing an exotic dance with his wife there, for real? Who does that? Unless they're brought in by the wife. But she would have never done that anyway. Even the pathetic attempt they made at trying to say, well, she had alcohol in her system. Okay, she's not driving. I was celebrating her upcoming 25th birthday. She's at a party that's serving alcohol. So why are y'all surprised that there was some in her system?
Yeah.
She wasn't drunk. She wasn't legally drunk. So what are y'all trying to say? Thing they didn't say was how much alcohol or drugs was in his system, because they never tested him.
My goodness, the victim was the one under being
scrutiny,
like a suspect. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, they technically stopped short of saying that she shot herself.
Yeah. They blamed it on her.
Yeah. Well, it's something that she did. What did she do? Because I got the 14 witness statements that they gave. I have the 911 call from the first call till they cleared it. I got it on CD. Matter of fact, I got 2 CDs. There's no way she could physically have shot herself where she got shot, especially since at the end of the autopsy report, the coroner puts out, can't rule out that she was shot from a distance, when he knows good and well she was shot from a distance. The bullet caliber was too big for the size hole in my daughter's chest. It had to have traveled in order to be smaller than what it should have been. There was no gunshot residue whatsoever on my daughter. Her hands, her clothes, or her wound track, nothing. So no, she wasn't near that gun when it went off. But it's a constant battle with the police department. It took me 4.5 years just to get her property back. And they were saying that it was in 5 different places and it was only 4 things. So how could it be in 5 places? They never acknowledged the fact that my daughter was robbed when she was murdered.
Wow. They
Yeah,
stole her items as well.
Yeah, she had 2 cell phones on her. Both of them were mine. So I know,
Wow.
okay. Called them, they were turned off. Couldn't ping the location. Then all of a sudden, 4 months later, one was being used to sell a vehicle on Craigslist that was pretty much my vehicle. Yeah.
Wow.
I had a 2003 black Trailblazer. No, I had a 2002. And they were selling a black 2003 black Trailblazer on Craigslist. You can't tell the difference really just from a distance. You'd actually have to get up on them, see the difference in the tail lights, the dashboard, in order to know 2 from 3. Because they body type design was exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the only time the cops got to scribbling down any information. But I had gave them the phone numbers, told them ping it, find my phones, where are my phones? They never even looked for the phone. Because that would have led them to somebody who ran my daughter's pockets. Because by the time the police got there, her pockets were dog ears. You didn't need to do that. She had a purse. The young lady that took her to the party still had her purse, which had her ID in it. She knew where we lived, so why did y'all have to go in her pockets? Gosh. They tell me, well, we recovered $3 from the yard that they said was hers. $3. I'm pretty sure she had much more than that on her, but okay, we'll go with that.
Wow.
She was wearing blue jeans shorts. So why, when they gave me her property 4.5 years later, I got 3 crispy $1 bills? They're supposed to be creased in some sort of form. There was nothing. They didn't give me the shoe that went to the hospital. They gave me the shoe that was left in the backyard. She had Roman lace sandals. How is she coming out of those shoes? I'll say it, I'm not worried about it. There was a gash on Adaisha's forehead, right side. There was abrasions to the outside of right side of her knee. Gosh. But they said she fell straight back when she got shot. So how did she get a gash and the abrasions? Nobody wants to say anything about that. Like I said, the coroner took pictures, but did not include it. So that would have said, okay, there's maybe something different going on here.
Yeah.
My daughter was killed 6 hours into this party. It had been going on for 6 hours by the time she was murdered. And depending on which witness statement you want to believe, 15 or 45 minutes after she arrived, she was dead. That's not really a lot of time to get into something with somebody.
Goodness. My goodness.
Yeah. You know, my thing is, if they didn't want her at the party, if the wife didn't want her at the party, that was no big deal. She had 2 phones. She could have called me, her brother, her father, cousins. She could even walk to cousins' houses. She was in walking distance of family. So that was not a big deal. she would have left. But for everybody to play like they don't know or understand what's going on, you know, they better be grateful that I got grandkids. Seriously. And that my baby boy was just 12 when she was murdered. She was murdered 18 days after his birthday. And he'll be 21 in June. And he still doesn't want a party. You know, he said he never wants another birthday party because they spent the entire day together. My youngest son is 10 years younger than my youngest daughter. Adaisha's 13 years older than him, but they spent the entire day with him doing everything he wanted to do, playing every kind of game he wanted to play. I literally had to make them come in the house at 11:45 and sing happy birthday to him before it wasn't his birthday anymore. They didn't even eat any cake or ice cream. They just went back outside. They came in around 3, you know.
Yeah.
I've been out there playing every kind of kid game you could think of. And for them to take all of that from him, from her siblings, her nephews, and her only niece that she told my daughter she was carrying. I only got 1 granddaughter. I got 7 grandkids, and an 8th one on the way, and it's a boy. So her specialness is missed every day.
Gosh, we're getting a lot of, I wanted to let you know, we're getting a lot of comments from people, a lot of impacted families and people that know you, that are sending you love and lots
Thank
of comments.
Okay.
Can't even start going through them.
Yeah. But I want to put out there, you know, if anybody needs to get in touch with us, they can find us on Facebook, Protect Our Stolen Treasures post. There are other chapters on there as well. You can call at 313-952-1571. That's one of our post phone numbers. You can email us at protectourstolentreasures.yahoo or Gmail. We're on both of them. We're also on Instagram. But it's so many families out there that don't know what to do first, or how to navigate dealing with the police officers. And we're in the process of putting together, you know, kind of a what to do packet for them, you know, but we try to get to people and, you know, first and foremost, tell them, don't talk to the press, don't talk to the cops. And a lot of people don't know. They think, well, I got to tell them, but no, you don't have to tell them anything right now, because the moment that you say something, it's either manipulated or eliminated from what is given to the public. And then you're sitting up there arguing that I didn't say that. That's like with Adaisha. They're going to say, I said she was flirting with the cop. I said, no, I didn't say she was flirting with the cop. I said, even if they were being flirty, she would not mess with him because he's married. And that's one thing my daughter stuck to. If you're married, that's your problem. Work it out. Don't involve me. But there's so much to this scenario, to this case, that is weird, out of place. No way to explain. Like, how did she get shot if the gun was in an underweight's holster, but she got shot in the chest? You know, and that's how they kept saying, well, it was this side, no, it was that side. Witness statement says, I was standing right near him. I was talking to him. I was standing on his right side. She never stepped between us. Well, then how did she get shot on the right side of her body if his gun was on the right side of his body? Well, I don't know how that happened. Okay. The cop didn't know his gun went off. That's his story. His story is, I heard the sound, but I didn't know it was my gun. I felt the warm sensation on my side, but I didn't know it was my gun. I saw her fall, but I didn't know it was my gun. I knew it was my gun when somebody the hole out in my shirt to me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that sounds like you don't have nothing in your system. You pure driven snow.
It's crazy. It's crazy too. It's a little different because it's an off-duty cop that
Right.
he wasn't working while he killed your daughter. But I'm thinking, like, is he even the one who killed her? Like, you haven't got.
No, I don't believe he is. I believe that his wife shot my daughter. There are statements out there that the cop and the wife got to tussling at his side before the gun went off. I've talked to 7 different gun experts who said that, well, one in particular is a Marine. He trains snipers. He has a degree in human psychology, a master's degree, not somebody we would take lightly.
Yeah.
He said, based on, and this is what happened. One of my friends is a Marine, went to Iraq with him, went to him and asked him directly, if a person was shot and he showed he pointed to the location where my daughter was hit. Said, what would you say? He said 2 things. Their fight or flight kicked in and they stepped to their strong side first, but they saw it coming because they put their hands up. That's how she got hit in the chest. But it's just nothing about any of it makes sense, because the cop allegedly is supposed to let his drunk cousin take his loaded gun that just fired mysteriously and secure it and put it in the kitchen. And securing it in the kitchen was him setting it on the counter and walking out, even though it was 9 people in the house, including children.
Gosh. I just, how does this even if that were the case, like, okay, she accidentally got shot, then they should still be being held responsible for her death.
Exactly. But, okay, this is what happened. The insurance company, the investigator said, I'm not buying it. This is not how this woman was shot. So the police department hurried up and put out accidental shooting as their ruling. But they had suspended the investigation because the city of Detroit went into bankruptcy. An emergency manager said, anything dealing with the police department, whatever, we're not doing it until after we come out of bankruptcy and receivership. Excuse me. So during that time, Kim Worthless decides that she's going to put out a notification on Sunday night news, not Monday, not contact us, not contact our attorney, but just put it on the news that she's closed my daughter's case and she cleared the officer of all wrongdoing. So she was shot at his house, at his party with his service weapon while he was off duty. Okay. So everybody wants to know what it is that she and he got going on. How does he know her? Who does he know that put that much pressure on her to make her not do her job? Good question. I'd like to know too. Yeah. But my theory is he's protecting his wife, because back in the 80s, 84, 86, somewhere around there, they made it a felony to commit a crime with a police officer's weapon. So it automatically became felony murder 1. Which she would do life. The fact that he's covered up for her and that the friends and family have covered up for them, make them all complicit in this crime. And they all get some time for it. They don't know that I know. I know a lot about them. Like I said, when you take one of our loved ones, you make us the best detectives in the world. You know, I know how I know where, let's put it this way. I have put his pension number and his voter registration number on Facebook.
Yolanda, I love it. You're getting lots of hearts right now. Thank
you. But you have to fight back. And since they want to fight dirty and they always want us to follow the rules, you know, we have to get a little creative with it. And there are a lot of loopholes that we can dash through. And they can't close them up because then they wouldn't be able to do the stuff that they do. But there's nothing illegal about me putting that information out there as public information. Them scrubbing Facebook of him and his family, all social medias, making it even if you Google him, you cannot get a picture of him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Even if you go to the Detroit Police Department's Facebook page and put it, it's not gonna bring him up. But I do know what he looks like. I do know that something went down between him and his wife and they ended up divorced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right shortly after my daughter's death. And the family didn't understand that. They don't know that I actually have spoken with one of their family members.
Wow.
And they said that they were so in love, it didn't make sense. They won't explain why.
Wow.
I know that the wife at the time of my daughter's death was working for Comcast, and I think she probably still does, and that she moved out to Garden City, Michigan.
We got to do our research.
Absolutely.
Our research, stay up on it. Good.
But we gotta stay on it because nobody else is gonna do it for us.
Yeah.
You know, they're on to the next one too quick, but we're still left missing our loved one and counting down years.
Yeah. Yeah. So lots of comments. I'm going to hit up just a couple real quick. We have Donna C. She says, we become better investigators than the police. Absolutely. We have Karen, I think she may have came late. She's asking about the party. So I'm just going to give a quick update. Her daughter, Adaisha Miller, 24 years old, the day before her birthday, at a house party celebrating that she was invited to. So she was a guest there and was shot and killed by an off-duty, supposedly.
Shot by the off-duty officer, right.
But as her mother has shared multiple stories, and I want to share too with you, 5 stories in the first 2 days. That was my brother's, our experience, 5 different stories, outrageous stories as well. I relate to, I think most of the families that when they share the stories, when they have the crazy stuff, we already know some of these things that our loved one wouldn't do that. So I think that's the first thing that sets it off for us. You know, your daughter, you know, she's not a dancer, you know, that's bullshit. Outright. And yeah, you shared earlier too, just that's one of the very hurtful things too that happens to families, how they try to talk about our family members after they murder them and make them seem like the things you shared that they said about your daughter. And like it's one of those things
less than human, or that they didn't deserve it, you know, they don't deserve any kind of sympathy. The family shouldn't be complaining about them being gone. Okay. As long as my daughter wasn't trying to kill somebody, she should still be here. You not liking her being at a party is not grounds to kill her. You being neglectful with your weapon is not grounds for you to get away with it because, well, you know, cops can have their guns with them when they're off duty. Yeah, we already know that, but logic says you have your family, children and infants at this party. Why in the fuck would you have your gun? I have my gun, but I would not bring it to my family like that. I would not put myself in a position where something like that could happen. Okay, being prepared. Preparedness means that you have one in the chamber. In case anything jump off, you don't have to take the time to rack your gun. You can just fire. Granted, but if I were to have my weapon with me, I would not rack one in the chamber. I would just have to take that chance because I would not want somebody to accidentally grab my weapon and cause it to fire. You know, I have a in the waist holster. There ain't no way for them to get to the trigger. That's a lie. The police chief at the time was Ralph Godby, a piece of garbage. And I'm gonna say that. I sat at a table with him after my daughter's death at a march, and he kept trying to pretend that he didn't know who I was, even though the papers on the desk were, on the table were my daughter's with her photo, and I'm wearing her shirt. And then on top of that, one of the guys wanted to make sure I was there because I was speaking. So he's yelling over the microphone, "Where's Adaisha Miller's mother?" I'm like, "I'm right here." But he kept pretending that he did not know I was there, that he could see me. But this is the
No
fool that lied and
respect.
said, it was unfathomable what happened. But y'all did a press conference without me. Y'all sent me a package telling me that if I told you what I thought happened to her, y'all would pay up to $20,000 for her funeral. You can't buy me. You can't buy her.
What?
Adaisha didn't come here with a toe tag that said she was worth X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And until you can become a genie and blink and bring my baby back, it's nothing you can do for me.
Yeah.
You know, crazy stuff.
I've heard so many stories now, as you have as well, much more than me. You've been here twice as long and some, but there's always just, the craziness doesn't end. There's just always every story.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. You would run out of paper trying to write down all the crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. And and each case, we have our own bunch of crazy shit, but I think it's clear that a cover up, and they're full of shit. They're lying. They're lying. They're lying. That's
right. Even it was an officer. He retired and moved down to Texas, but he went and wrote on my daughter's page after he retired that he fully believes it's a cover up. That
wow.
Everything in that situation was wrong, and they did not do their investigation. They didn't. I talked to the cops. I said, "Okay, so what was his blood alcohol level?" Oh, well, we asked him if he drank and he said he didn't. So we just left it alone. Oh, because he said no, it became gospel. And I said exactly this. You're gonna tell me he didn't fix himself a shorty, take a sip out of his wife's cup, drink a deuce with his boys while he was sitting up there talking for 6 damn hours at a fish fry? I said, do you know what color people do at a fish fry? And the white cops looked at the black cops, and the black cops put their heads down. And the white cops was like, yeah, okay. So everybody's fully aware that people drink at a fish fry. Liquor and fish go together like that. It's just synonymous. Not saying that he had to be drinking liquor. He could have been drinking beer. He could have been drinking wine. He could have been snorting coke, doing whatever. Yep. Okay, but y'all chose not to check him at all. And then they didn't follow any policy, protocol, or procedure when it came to this officer. And by that, I mean, they did not take his clothes that night. They did not check him for any drugs or alcohol. They didn't even check him for gunshot residue. And they did not interview him that night. They interviewed everybody else at the party. They told him to come downtown 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh, that's long enough to sober up.
That's nice. Nice for him. He got all these benefits.
Exactly.
Gosh, it's so crazy. What do you think, Yolanda? I know, the work you do and stuff, but just if you can share with the people watching, which most of them are families, but some are not impacted families. So what do you think would be the top things to share that are going to start bringing changes for you with your experience?
The laws need to be changed. The rules. Okay, if you or I go out and shoot somebody and they die, we get charged with murder, even if it's accidental. We get charged with involuntary manslaughter, manslaughter 2, whatever. Cops kill people every day for sport because they're not going to get charged with anything. That's just their entertainment now, and we need to change those laws so that they suffer the exact same consequences that we do, because they are just like us. There's nothing super about them. I keep telling people that ain't a damn thing super about a cop. They put on a badge and a gun and don't give a fuck about an oath that they took. That's what it is. And I'm not saying that there aren't good cops out there. There are good cops out there that's speaking out. There's good cops out there that are turning officers in, but they're running a risk of being murdered themselves.
Yeah.
And the cops that are calling themselves silently waiting for something to change, you're a good cop, but you ain't good enough, because it needs to be all of y'all holding these other fools accountable. If that had happened, if the officer that murdered my daughter or his wife, him and his wife, had been held accountable, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Aubrey, so many people would still be here.
Yep.
So many people would still be here because they learned there's a consequence for their behavior, and it's life. You know, if you're gonna call yourself compensating a person for their loved one's loss, first person you need to hit up is that officer. Get that pension money. Whatever they got saved up is gone. You know, I'm gonna tell you this now. I got the city of Detroit after me because I won't pay my city taxes. I haven't done that in, it's coming on 4 years. But why should I? Why should I pay the salary of the officer that murdered my daughter? Because yeah, he's still out there on the streets.
Damn. Yeah.
So when they decide they're ready to go to court, we can go to court, and I'm gonna tell them why I'm not paying.
Damn. You are creative. You are getting creative. I love it.
Yeah, but you know, I have to come up with different ways to call attention to it, because people feel like, oh, that was so long ago. No, baby, that was yesterday.
Yep.
That was
That's
yesterday.
your baby.
Right, and it never changes from yesterday. Yeah, consciously it's been 9 years, but my heart got murdered yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I like that.
You
The
bring that
ones
to
that are
okay.
the ones that are silently waiting. You're a good cop, but you're not good enough. I was like,
Right.
okay, noting that line. I like that.
Uh-huh.
That's something that I try to remind people.
Yeah. Can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, I'm back. I got 3 phones, so I'm always answering something.
You're ringing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just gonna say that's something that I try to remind people about. You know, a lot of people look at us like, hey, we just don't like cops. We're just cop haters. But
No.
I do say, I don't think that all the cops are out there looking to kill, looking to harm and abuse people. I don't think that at all, but I liked what you said there. For anybody watching, we got people on with us right now still that have been leaving lots of comments. If you guys have any questions or comments that you want to ask Yolanda, feel free to type it right now. That way we can ask her before we close up. As I'm scrolling up, there's a whole bunch, but I will hit this one. Miss Grant, they need to be drugged. This is about the cops, and something that we talk about a lot on this show, because a lot of people aren't aware about the drug and alcohol testing that doesn't happen. So she says they need to be drug and alcohol tested, clothes uniform taken for evidence, medical exam for injury, examined for gunshot residue, location patterns, questioned immediately.
Right.
And these are the things that families, we don't know this when it first happens. You know, we don't know all these kind of.
No, we have no clue. And you are so shocked. And this is another thing that I want to change. Because you know, P.O.S.T does have a demand list, and I'll send that to you so you can post it as well. But in each and every scenario, regardless of when you're notified, the moment that your loved one is murdered, you are now on the clock. You don't have to know that they're gone, but you are on the clock for trying to get justice, information, absolutely everything that you're trying to do begins the moment that they die. You get a limitation on how long you have before you can file your case. You have a limitation on how long you can file a civil suit against a police officer, but then you turn around and they tell you there's no statute of limitation on murder. Well, they were murdered, so why the hell have I got a limitation?
Yeah.
Take that off of us. Take that off of us. Because 3 years is not enough time, especially when you got certain attorneys that like to bullshit your time away. I'm not gonna name them, but there are some attorneys that will take your case and claim that they're doing all this work and everything, and they turn right around and drop you right before your time limit is up. It's like, who the fuck do you work for?
Yeah.
You know, and these do dirties need to be held accountable too. Like the attorney that I had, he didn't do anything I couldn't have done. Literally, he didn't do anything I could not have done. And
lots of crooks.
Yeah, but took $30,000.
My gosh.
To give me nothing. Nothing. You know, it's just a game to them. And we actually need attorneys who specialize in social justice, human rights, and that's all they do. And our kind of cases are the only ones that they take. You know, these injury lawyers don't know what the fuck is going on, let alone how the rules apply to police officers. That's why I keep trying to encourage everybody, when you, even if it hasn't happened to you, learn what the rules are in your city and your state as it applies to police officers. Learn how the crossover between sheriffs and county apply to police officers in your county where you live, because you may have to go outside in order to start getting something happening. And we need, this is my wish for real, that we had special prosecuting attorneys that only dealt with this, but they never took cases in the state they live. They cannot take a case in the state that they live in, for this simple reason: you don't know the cop, so you're not his friend.
Yeah.
You're more inclined to do your job if you're not buddies with him.
Conflict of interest.
All day long.
So many. That's just.
And that's what happens every time. Prosecutor knows the cops don't want to rub them wrong, because you're going to need them later on in that other case when you know you're going to be able to get your name up in lights for 15 more minutes. That's not how you're supposed to work. That's not how it works. Because if I walked up to and blew one of them away, y'all do y'all due diligence. You know, I had spoke with a lieutenant of homicide, and I asked them, did the cops still work for the city? And they didn't want to answer me. And I told them, okay, it's not going to be a good thing if I run up on him. Or are you threatening the cop? That's for people who don't have any intention of doing anything. I don't threaten anybody. I said, but that's not going to be a good thing. Well, if something happens to that officer, I said, oh, now you're going to do your job. If something happened to him, you're going to come look at me and you're going to do all the shit that you should have did for my daughter. You know, and I love Detroit, but I'm fucking sick and tired of Detroit because they let my daughter down, and she loved this city. She loved this city.
Gosh.
So yeah, I gotta hold somebody accountable, because I know Adaisha didn't kill herself. I know that she didn't do anything that warranted her being murdered.
Yep.
And based on what I'm seeing as far as her physical being, after the fact, she was attacked by somebody. So since you can't handle her trying to fight,
yeah,
make that pussy move and go get that gun.
Yep.
you know, and I tell guys out in the street that they want to go pull a gun on somebody. You too scared to knuckle up and take an ass whooping. If you started it, you should be willing to handle it.
Yep.
You know, you don't need a gun to prove that you're strong. A baby can pull a trigger. Several of them have done it lately and shot another baby. So y'all can't sit up here and say that you're a man because you got a gun. That's supposed to be your last resort.
So I've had a couple people ask, they're curious if you know, if this was, I mean, it was a cops party, but if you know, if there's other cops.
Oh yeah. His coworkers, family, and friends were there.
Okay. A couple people were asking about that.
Yeah. I even got a explanation for the cookie cutter explanations that people gave in their statements. Somebody said that in that 25-minute time span between my daughter being shot and the 911 call, that other off-duty officers were called to the house and they told people, this is what you're going to say. Heard a firecracker, saw her fall, no matter where you were in the backyard, which makes no sense because you see how dark it is right here. It's low light party, DJ playing music in the garage, it's blaring. So how in the hell are you gonna hear a firecracker and turn in enough time to locate my daughter and see her fall?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I say it time and time again. I write stories. My friend writes plays. I used to write plays. And he and I both agree. If we were to take this to Hollywood, they'd be like, no, there's too many moving parts. You got to take some of this stuff out of here.
Yeah.
But all of this shit is happening.
Real life.
Talk about stranger than fiction. Whew.
Gosh.
It's beyond crazy.
So you know what? I have read other stories like Adaisha. So about different people. I know I've read some about minors and adults as well. And I could think of maybe 2 or 3 different ones, but where the homeowner's house ended up being a police officer's house. And I wish I would have had the names and, you know, the exact info ready to share right now. But as I'm recalling, I've read other ones like this, and same thing, covered up, shadiness. The families are getting just shooed away, lied to.
Right. And the young lady that took my daughter to the party and her sister, well, the young lady that invited my daughter to the party and her sister is the one that drove everybody. Their mother came down and gave us her condolences. She said, I don't know what's going on. I've been trying to reach my daughters for 4 hours. I'm texting them, calling them 911. I'm not getting any response. But when they get home, I'll have them come talk to you. They were lying once they finally got home. One of the things that they didn't know that we had found out is that the cop is the girl who took my daughter to the party's first cousin.
Oh, wow.
But she lied. She lied to the investigator. She lied to me. She lied to everybody about their relationship.
Wow.
These, and I hate to say it, but financially stable, they were not. But all of a sudden, 2 weeks after my daughter's death, they pull up with a new vehicle. Everybody's been shopping, buying clothes and Jordans and getting Tizillion and the junk nails done and all this expensive stuff.
Wow.
Now that's her sister, and 2 daughters, her 2 sons, and her boyfriend. And everybody gets out this van with 5 bags of clothing apiece. New Jordans on, jewelry. And I had neighbors that were sitting out across the street, and everybody yelled across the street at the same time, y'all see this? Like, yeah. The boyfriend of the young lady grew up with some of my cousins. So they asked him what was going on. He comes with this off the wall, lame excuse for how the money is, and the vehicle shows up and all this other stuff. And it's not plausible, is saying this being very polite. Let's just put it that. And, it's like, you're not logical. You're not, nothing you're saying or doing makes any sense. And they just keep compiling stuff on and on and on. But here it is almost 9 years later. And we ride down the block, that same vehicle is sitting on the side of the house, broke down. They still in the exact same house, same position. So your bride didn't last, to stay silent. I talked to one neighbor, they said it's wearing on her. She's looking older and older every year. Gosh. But why would you, even if it's your cousin, he's wrong, and that you are the person that's responsible for my daughter even being at that party.
Yeah.
Why would you hold it secret? For a bullshit payoff? And you couldn't even maintain it? 5 seconds of gratification is not worth somebody's life and a lifetime of holding a secret. And I don't know if they believe in heaven or hell, but shoot, you risking not having a halo for keeping his secret.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense. But
gosh,
Adaisha was very much loved by a bunch of people. She had a million friends. Seriously, she had so many friends. So much so that even the guy that she was dating, I didn't know it at the time till a little while later, but he had started having a weekly barbecue for her every week, starting the Sunday after her funeral, which her funeral was on Saturday. And all her friends faithfully came out there every week. Then we started coming because they told us about it. And I told them, okay, every week is a little bit rough because you're not even giving yourself any time to heal from the wound of remembering and talking about it or whatever. So let's do it every month. But they kept that up for 3 years.
Wow.
Okay, that's love and dedication.
Yeah.
And everybody asked, the first thing they asked, what you doing for their birthday? So her friends will be at the dedication. A lot of her friends are going to be there. They come out to marches, they come out to protest, they come out and support. They're not letting her name die either.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great that you guys had support like that. And it must be, with my brothers as well, it's like, we don't know, we don't know, we may never know exactly what happened with certain parts, but I got the realization recently, and kind of like what you were saying right now, that girl can still talk, somebody can still come forward with the truth, and
Right.
you could still get more info. You mentioned earlier about possibly I can't think of what it's called right now, but what you may have to do to bring her.
Oh, exhumer.
Yes, exhumer. Yeah, that's actually something I've thought about as well for our situation, my brother. So it does give me hope sometimes. You've been here so much longer, so it's good for me to hear this, and I know other families probably feel the same way. Just basically, we can't give up. We can't give up.
No, there's just no reason to. We have, okay, well, I understand the difference when it comes to siblings and whatnot, because I talk to my kids. But us as parents, especially as mothers, if you went through everything it took to bring that baby here, and because you're about to have another one, you can do the fight, no matter how tired you get, whatever. You went through the labor of getting that person here. So fight for them until you don't have any more breath in you, because that was your job in the first place. That is what mother is. She's the warrior that fights for her child no matter what, till her last breath. Okay. But same thing with the fathers. they may play Johnny Bench. They just get to sit and watch you swell up and everything else. But you cannot diminish the love that they have for their children and the need for them to be in their lives. My ex-husband, Adaisha's father, I tell people all the time, he had kids, so he had somebody to play with. I'm serious, because he's like a big old kid, especially when it came to them. You know, out riding bikes and racing with them and all kind of stuff. It's like, okay, I tell them do their make sure they do their homework. We went riding to the park, you know, no homework.
Yeah.
You know, they were out there hanging out. But we have to let them know we value our loved ones. You know, it's not a for a little while thing. You know, well, if you okay, this is interesting. I'm watching these people not drive well. It's just very important that we let the world know we're not going to forget our loved ones. We're not going to get over what the hell you did to them. And that, yes, somebody should be held accountable. It's not going to make it better. It's not going to make it even. But it should at the very least be fair.
Yeah.
You know, because if I commit the crime that this officer committed, I would be in jail. I would have been in jail.
Been in jail. Yeah.
Right. I would have been charged within 24 hours for somebody's murder, involuntary manslaughter, reckless behavior with a gun. I would have been charged with something. For him to sit up there and chill for 2.5 months behind a desk and then go right back to work like nothing happened, that shit there pisses me off.
Yeah.
You know, because they treated my daughter's death as though it was something they stepped in and had to wipe off their feet. And I'm not having that. I've said it time and time again. They should have Googled me when they fucked with mine. They should have found out who they was messing with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have enough fighting I got to do on my own, but I am more than willing to help anybody else do the fight. But you got to be in the fight. I'm not gonna fight for you, but I damn sure fight with you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we need. We need that, you know, amongst the families and everyone.
Right.
Can't do it alone.
Nope.
Okay. So is there anything before we close up, anything else you want to share about your daughter and maybe anything else to share with the audience?
Don't
Yep.
I'm gonna tell them, don't stop fighting, no matter what. When you need to step back, take a break. You are human. Don't fault yourself for being human. Don't fault yourself for getting tired. Don't fault yourself for being frustrated. Those are human things. You are a human being in the highest of emotional states, and it doesn't change. I'm not gonna lie to anybody and tell them that it's gonna get better, because it's not. You'll adapt to where you can live your life with the pain that you go through. You'll consciously acknowledge it with your body, won't physically have to go through it. As far as posts, like I said, reach out to us, find us on Facebook, email us or Protect Our Stolen Treasures, Gmail or Yahoo, or check out our website at protectourstolentreasures.strikingly.com. And if you can, come to our party with us. It'll be a lot of activists, a lot of people that you want to speak to. Selwood Jones, one of George Floyd's uncles, is going to be here with us. He's going to speak. We have a media company that's going to come out and interview people, so you can get your story out there on a different platform, and they will make certain that it is blasted. And like I said, if you need us, reach out to us.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. And then I was thinking, so April, it's in July, so I don't know. And I did want to let you know, I did have my baby. I had him last month.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I think I heard you say I'm about to have him, but
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So I had my baby, and who knows if, things are going smooth with him, maybe I'll be able to get away and make it out there in the summer.
Okay.
That sounds great. It's great what you're doing, and that you're inviting other families and people, giving them a platform also through
Yeah.
your guys'.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I will give you all the information so you can put it up there. And
Okay.
I even have we have the hotel set. So, we got you a good price at the hotel, and it's a nice place. It's got everything is Detroit themed inside of it. And you can even order your food and click on the TV and watch them prepare your food.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah. But yeah, we got a lot going on here. We just want people to come together and for a little while, even with our pain, celebrate their lives and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely always a good thing when the families get together. I haven't gotten out there on your side much yet, but I've been to some things around here. Okay, Yolanda, well, thank you for being on with us, and I'll see you on Facebook, and send me over the links, and we'll update. I'll update the post with those links on them, and then whenever you have time, just go ahead and check out the comments. Lots of support, lots of engagement in there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right.